I'm working on one of these Fantasia lamps today. We got a little bit of motor noise, and sometimes the spinning motion freezes up and doesn't work. But these are really gorgeous lamps. They're fiber optic lamps with real silica glass fiber optic cords. They call these a spray, and each one of these was hand trimmed into its shape. I'm just gonna lay it down and try to get it protected so I don't snap them off. You're reading about the history of these lamps. It seems that it was a fiber optic company that had lots of divisions, laser divisions and whatever, that went through some real financial trouble. They came out I think these lamps came out in the 70s, and in the early days, in the 60s, the company was making IBM punch card readers with fiber optic lighting and sensing of the punch cards. And then when that business died due to the floppy disk being invented, they had to come up with something else, and they designed these lamps. It appears that the color is actually just a film, like a sticker stuck to this piece of glass. So you can see this right through it. It's a glass disc, and this color wheel is powered by a small motor down here, and then it has a gear drive that spins the spray around. So the spray will spin as the stationary light shines through a revolving color wheel. So this lamp has a rather large, cooling built in. It's got a fan with a 120 volt motor on it, and plastic fan blades, and that was all, I believe, just cooling for the original halogen lamp. So when I was looking for a replacement lamp, of course you can go with the original 50 watt halogen bulb. Those make a ton of heat. Nowadays we have these LEDs, and some of them, like this one, has a good lens on it for focalizing the light, and it seems to just work perfectly. So we can go from 50 watts down to 7.5 watts with this sort of this really cheap upgrade. And then these parts, if they ever need to be replaced, they really look like off-the-shelf units. This round motor here, that looks exactly like the motor that comes on a lot of vintage clocks. So I think this is just a clock motor. I tried counting the revolution of the spray, and it really seems like it just moves one revolution, like one complete turn per minute, which is neat. And then little motors like this, you see them in things all the time. So if anything ever failed, I think you could get replacement parts, because I think mostly what they were building was the fiber optic side and the lamp shades themselves. I want you to listen to this thing operate for a minute, just to see why we're going to do what we're going to do to it today. We got a little rattle and humming going on. Alright, so this motor is just regular wall outlet power, the 120 volt, but the output to the lamp is a 12 volt rated lamp. So let's just get a measurement on that. Let's probe into the fixture itself, and we're running it right around 17 volts AC. And these LED lamps, well, pretty much any incandescent also, but also these LEDs, they could run AC or DC 12 volts. I wish I had a better understanding of what these motors do, how they work. I mean, this looks like an evaporator motor or a refrigerator motor, the one that blows underneath the refrigerator to get rid of all the condensation that forms in the tray. But what they're doing is you have the plug power coming in, and then it powers both of these motors, which are 120 volt AC. You got the clock motor that spins the top, and you got the fan motor. And then this red wire coming off the fan is providing the low voltage AC, the 17 volts, to the lamp. And I was googling and googling, but I cannot figure out what this is called to get us a good search term for replacement parts if we needed to find a motor where they are pulling low voltage off of it. But I think it's a common thing. You're reading some of the refrigerator tech blogs. It sounds like this is a common thing, but I cannot find a name. But it sounds like, you know, the condenser motor or the evaporator motor, you can tap into it to power low voltage things like, you know, lights and stuff or something. But yeah, I don't know, I can't find it. So whatever. Underneath, you know, this cover on the side, which is all these wire ties, and I'm investigating here because I was trying to figure out why this motor that spins the top apparatus wasn't working for me. Because when I got this, there's no spin, you know, no light because the light was burned out, but no spin, and these are just simple, you know, wire ties. You know, so maybe by tugging on the wires I got to make contact again. Two of these were quite loose, so I tightened all these up a bit to get a little better contact on the wires. But now the issue of oiling this motor, it'd be a lot easier if I could take it apart and pull this out so I can get right where I want to apply the oil. The problem is I don't think I have a good contact adhesive. I would have to buy a part if I was to peel this velvet off so I can get down to where the bolt is. Probably would destroy this velvet too. So I'm just sort of wasting time right now thinking about what I could do. You know, what I'm worried about is that the threads for these screws are not threaded into this plate, and that there's, you know, little nuts and washers underneath that'll fall. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so we're good. The threads are, in fact, in that plate, so there's no nuts to worry about falling. The way I determined that real quick was as I was screwing it out, the screw was lifting as it backs out of the threads in that plate. So this will be an easy thing to assemble and disassemble. I really like how this is manufactured, this old school way of building things. Take these wire ties off, and we'll separate the cord wire. I'm gonna use some tape to mark it so I don't have to keep up with anything. So this wire here, I'm just going to make it orange, and then I'll make where it goes orange as well. Then over here, I'll just free this one and put all these back together. These are neutrals, or grounds, or commons, I guess. Pull the lamp power right out and have it aside, and I think I can remove this as a unit. Oh, nice. Gosh, this is a pleasure to work on. Then we can get to cleaning and oiling. Alright, I want to take this apart just a little bit more, at least get this motor off. I got a 5/16. It's not quite the right size, but it's good enough for how loose these are. I'm just going to drop this motor down. I'm just going to clean with some alcohol. Get some on there and start rubbing all this stuff off best I can. I don't know what all this gunk is on the blades, but you can imagine something that was manufactured in the 70s. It probably is, you know, cigarette smoke and a lot of dust, right? So I imagine that this thing was inside a pretty cool place with a lot of the old timers just smoking like chimneys. Also gonna get inside here. Ugh. Everything that got flung out of there. Gross. So I want to take these end plates that hold the bearings off, but I don't really want to deal with, you know, risking breaking this fan blade. So I'm just going to go underneath with a 1/4 inch and loosen them by hand. We can carefully get a 1/4 inch driver on there. Let's go for this back one first. So there are a stack of spacers to keep up with. Let's make sure we didn't leave any. There might be one on the shaft still. Alright, so this little stack of stuff, I'm just going to scoop under it and lift the whole thing off and leave it on this tool so I don't lose it. Let me feel this bearing. See if it's a bearing or a bushing. I think it's just a bushing. I don't feel spinning happening. And now we'll get to the lubrication. So electric motors need a detergent-free oil, probably a little bit lighter than a SAE 20. You know, if you see this 1/4 horsepower motor or larger, I think this might be like an 1/8 or a 1/16 of a horsepower motor. We should probably use oil a little bit lighter than this, like a SAE 10. And what that would be, what would I think we could use pneumatic oil, because that's also detergent-free oil that's a little lighter. You know, something for your air gun. Let me see if I got any. So my pneumatic oil can't read the label anymore, so I have no idea what it is, but it definitely seems thinner. But I can't prove what it is. But this is what I've used it as a pneumatic oil for a long time. Well, actually, for the bigger motor, I'm going to use this, and then I'll save this lighter stuff for the smaller motor if we're still making noise. Alright, so let's just try some of this for this motor. We'll do a couple little drops in there. Yeah, that bushing's not going anywhere. Let's just do another one on the inside. Perfect. And this end, let's just pull this one out all the way. We'll take the spindle with us. Wait, what is that called? Oh my god, I'm losing my vocabulary. I'm going to go into it right here. Do a couple drops. Give it a spin. Alright, that feels pretty good. Give this one a little spin. Let's see if it feels lubed. Yeah, I don't know. It feels pretty dry, honestly. Oh yeah, that feels better. Let's do one more drop on the shaft and work it down in there. Oops, that was 2 drops, a bit more than we need. Alright, I'm digging it. We are lubed. We'll just go back together with it. Alright, let's get our shims so we have the not too much play in here. Let's drop those on like that. And then we'll flop this down in there. Then we'll come back with these little bolts. We'll drive them in. We'll have a lubricated motor. That'd be great. Now I'm going to pop it in and just test it, see what it sounds like. I'm going on the idea that less is more with this project. Since everything was pretty much working already, we don't want to, you know, fix it till it's broke. We want to just sort of improve it slightly. We got the lock washer. We got the nut. Do the same over here. So to test this thing, I'm just gonna reconnect it while it's outside of the fan, or while it's outside of the lamp. Alright, I'm gonna get real close. Alright, let's turn it on, see if it makes noise. That is pretty quiet. So while it's running, I'm just going to see about lubricating some of these other pieces. So you can see how it just slowly turns. I might need a different way to get oil out of here. The drops are pretty messy. Let's see if we can use our pick again. If it'll hold enough oil, we can get a drop off of it. Oh yeah. Now that works pretty good. We get a drop off of this. I'll come down here and deliver a drop. Oops, lost my drop. And we're using the lighter weight oil for these smaller motors, because you can gum up a motor with too thick of an oil, but it seems like we're working. We'll just let that work its way in for a while. So I'm just working on cleaning up this color wheel a bit. I'm just using a little bit of Windex on a paper towel. Quite a bit of nasty's coming off. That might help brighten the colors a bit, but there's definite fading on the actual color itself. That color just got burned up by the halogen bulb over the years. I mean, obviously they had a good design because it's lasted so many decades. I mean, these lamps, if they're built in the 70s, that's easily 50 years. So, wasn't anything wrong on their design spectrum. Let's see if we can get the bottoms a little too. So, being totally satisfied with how this thing sounds now, I think I'm just gonna put it back together. I did clean the inside of this a bit and down around there a bit, just to get rid of the rest of that oily black stuff, whatever it may be. Let's take these cables off. I mean, when you're doing a lamp, be sure to have it unplugged. All right, safe. Remember, this little safety things go a long way. So the way this attaches is this bracket down here has threaded holes in it to receive the screws. So we're just going to line this up with those holes. We're going to set this on top, align this with the holes. Then we take these tiny little screws with the tiny little washers. We'll carefully get them started. Try very hard not to cross thread. Not going to force anything. And then wiggle this around until we can get it. There's one. Alright, so let's fish these wires through this zip tie looking thing. And we're going to go up through a hole. And we're going to stick them out through here. Let's give it a nice good solid twist. We'll take our wing nut or wire nut and we're just twisting them on until they stop moving. Let's go ahead and reinstall our LED light bulb. This one is kind of a different shape because it's got this it's got a ridge on the edge where the original halogen bulb doesn't. So this one pops in there pretty securely, more secure than you would think. We'll get it angled right. And we'll push it in. Boom. Nice. We got a good strong updraft for cooling. These LEDs, they only get warm, they don't get fiery hot, so we'll be good. Let's do a little clean. So with this cover, we're just gonna pop it on. This is held in place with a screw, a washer, and a nut. A little bit noisy, but that's all air noise. I think it's spinning faster. Let's go ahead and put this globe on it. I can feel the air coming out the top nice. That's really good. So on the spray, you can see it's a little dirty at the ends where all the light comes through. I'm just going to try cleaning it a bit. I'm using Bendix right now. I'm just going to rub on it, see if any grossness comes off. You know, it might just be the way it is. They either pressure fitted this on here or they glued it. They were doing a lot of sprays that were glued into shapes, all the fiberglass strands glued. So this might just be kind of permanently discolored. I'm not seeing a bunch of crud come off of here. It's still got that black color. I mean, it seems like plenty of light's coming through it, but let's see if it could get better. I'm gonna try just scraping it with a blade, see if that does any good. Yeah, it's not doing much, so I'll just leave well enough alone. Because, you know, if they glued it, it's possible that the glue could have been burnt by the halogen light. Oh, y'all need something?
We want to go to the corner store to get popcorn.
Yeah.
Because we want to watch a movie.
Yeah, you want to get popcorn? So check my dresser, the top drawer of my dresser. There's cash sitting in there.
$10.
Yeah, well, I only have 20s, so just take a 20 and you can bring change. Oh yes, where was I? Well, anyways, yeah, I'm not getting that color off this way. But you know, if this was glued in here instead of like maybe, you know, a hydraulic clamping down on it, it's possible that the resin of the glue could have been burned. But if this is all just silica glass, I mean, maybe that's just the natural variation of glass. I mean, this is like legit real glass. Okay, silica, pure silica glass. That's the fiber optic cable is, especially back in the 70s. So one more little polish just to check. No, I'm not changing the way that looks. Drop it in here and take a little peek. We got a few little tangles. I guess if you're gonna undo tangles, you gotta be real gentle because these will break off. Like if you get snagged in like that and you just force it, it's gonna really mess it up. Not sure what the best thing is. Gentle breath or something. We got a big bundle of stuff. Yeah, there we go. Maybe just gentle picking it up and unfolding it. Because these are pretty strong, but as soon as if you fold one or whatever, they just snap off. They don't hold a bend. You know, they can flex and arch like what they do here, but they won't hold a bend. You fold it in half, and it's over for that particular strand. So I'm not going to mess with it much. I like that. I'm going to come back once it's dark outside and show you the full glory. So these are its sounds. There's no longer a grindy, whiny sound coming from the motor. The only sound it's making is air flowing through it from the fan. Oh. Hello. Let's just see what it uses. This is a kilowatt meter, and it tells you how much power a device is using. So it's drawing 32.2 watts, 32.1. So if it uses 32.1 watts, and that continues for an hour, that's a watt hour. And we buy our electricity in kilowatt hours. So let's say we use it 24 hours a day. With the average month being 30.437 days long, that is 23,448.7 watt hours consumed, or let's just round it a bit, 23.45 kilowatt hours. Here in Texas, kilowatt cost $11.36, and that means if you were to run it continuously for a month, it would cost you $2.66. Now, if you just used it 8 hours a day for a month, it would cost you just under 89 cents per month to have this thing on. And you know, it'd be easy enough to hook it up to a timer, and where it just comes on all the time, and you never have to touch it, and you can just enjoy it every night. And maybe it doesn't even need to run 8 hours a day. Maybe it just needs to run like six hours before you go to bed. But anyways, I mean, with this LED conversion, very economical thing to operate, and depending on how much you run it, you could enjoy it every night forever, and just maybe it'd show up 50 cents on your electric bill. So the light bulbs I chose to use are these Reveal LEDs, and what's that? That's from GE. They're 450 lumens, and I really like the lensing that they have on it to focus it. You know, some of the other LED models, they had the LEDs around it relying on bouncing off of the reflector to focus it, and then I think this lens might just be a more efficient way of getting all this light. Well, that's a fair amount of light coming out the top, and again, there's no heat. There's none. This is, well, okay, there's a little. This is slightly above ambient temperature, and it's been running for 45 minutes or so. So it's got excellent cooling, very low heat. And you know, the only way I found these was in a 2-pack. So it's $14 for a 2-pack, so $7 a bulb, and it'll pay for itself pretty quickly. Whoa. I wonder what model this is really. When I looked it up, I got close to, there's two of them that look like this. There is, I'm forgetting now. It looks awfully lot like the Sunburst, but the Sunburst was painted black. The second option, which I was looking at, is I think it might be the Ecstasy. And the Ecstasy is a chrome thing with very similar plumage to the Sunburst. Well, as you can see, these are pretty stunning lamps. I don't know how to end this video. It's pretty quiet. My air conditioner is that main humming noise. But it's sounding good, and it's beautiful. I guess what you need to avoid with these is too much touching. Like a gentle petting or trying to separate some of these is fine, but if you do anything that, like a little toddler going to crunch, not only will they break a bunch of these off, because since they're glass, they can only flex so far before they snap. They might get some glass in their hands if they were to crunch it. So, you know, don't love it to death. Keep the kids away from it, and kind of set it and forget it. Because, you know, silica glass, I mean, it's UV proof, it's heat proof, it's a very sturdy substance for the long term, as long as you don't crush it. And when you look down into the center of it, you can see all the light that's escaping from where all the different, you know, fiber optic cords have snapped off. And I don't know, if I had to guess, maybe it's lost about 50 in 50 years. It's doing pretty good. The plumage it has is really a survivor. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope it was useful. Give me a thumbs up if you can.